Tidings, and it is the Would You Rather set versus set. And first up, we have, as voted by you on Twitter, Call of the Archons going against Dark Tidings. I think we're going to kick things off by going deck A being Call of the Archons, and then deck B being the Dark Tidings. So let's see what shakes out from this brand new Keyforge adventure. I like doing new things. It's always fun to try something different. So what do we got first? Oh, we got a Untamed Logos Sanctum. And it is Mummius Broad Gardens Soldier. Alright, Mummius Broad Gardens Soldier. Let's see what this soldier has in store for us today, as I consistently struggle with the easy open Keyforge decks. Alright. Oh, that was weird. The tab was not the answer. So deck A, Mummius Broad Gardens Shoulder. And for cards, we have to kick things off. Effervescent Principle. ×2. Lab Work. Phase Shift. Double Phase Shift. Triple Phase Shift. Twin Bolt Emission. Twin Bolt Emission. Strange Gizmo. Bat Drone. Dexter. Quixo. And now on to Sanctum with a charge. Cleansing Wave. Inspiration. Spirit's Way. Virtuous Works. Hallowed Blaster. Whispering Reliquary. Commander Remiel. Lady Maxima. Maxena, I guess actually is probably the correct pronunciation. Protectrix. Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper. And on to Untamed with a Fertility Chant. Wow. Full Moon. Key Charge. Vigor. 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 Flaxia. Whoops. Card down. Snufflegator. Marmook. Niffle Ape. Hunting Witch. And lastly, another Hunting Witch. Okay, this is kind of a wild deck. So, yeah. Creature count. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 creatures, which is very low, but against Dark Tidings, it may be just enough. And then for pips, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pips. Alright, so that's that. And they're the rest of the stats for this deck. But what do I like? Well, obviously Untamed is where you're going to be calling, and the Flaxia seems most appropriate here. The Triple Vigor is weird. I guess it's just Ember and Healing. Key Charge seems like it could go off. Like, this is definitely... Untamed is for sure the best house here. All this stuff leads to a very easy Key Charge play. I feel like with the Hunting Witches, Full Moon, and Key Charge, plus the most creatures in the deck. Double Gatekeeper, it's nice for some scaling Ember. Protectrix is cool. Remiel is really nice. I'm not sure if you would be using, actually, this. You may want to use the logo side of things. What other cool things are here? Well, Whispering Reliquary is nice for a little bit of artifact control. Heal 3 damage from a creature, cool. Virtuous Works, cool. Spirit's Way. I mean, you pretty much wipe out the deck, but still, board clears, board clear. Ready and use a friendly creature. Cleansing Wave, always nice. Cleansing Wave and a charge. That's interesting. The only problem is that there is only... Oh, actually, you know what? There's 5 creatures in here. So yeah, you're basically just don't have creatures and logos. That's how it works. So yeah, the Cleansing Wave charge play seems really cool. Quixo's obviously never a unwanted card, so that's pretty neat. Dexter, Bat Drone. I think Quixo and Bat Drone are actually the targets for inspirations, for... What else was I thinking about here? What other card was I thinking about? Am I tripping here? Vigors obviously are going to be great for healing your gatekeepers. Oh, Remiel, that's the one. Remiel and Inspiration, you're going to want to be using Quixo or Bat Drone for sure. Strange Gizmo is really nice just for a little bit of artifact control. Really nice little spot removal here. Double Effervescent Principle. Tons of Scaling Ember control in this. The triple Phase Shift. I mean... yeah, I don't know where I would really, like, what I would want to use. I mean, maybe getting up there with some Virtuous Works, Spirit's Ways, Inspirations even would be really nice. Yeah, I don't know where else it would want to go. Like, I feel like maybe if the Flaxia works, Vigors, like, it's kind of a weird one, because I feel like everything in Untamed you'd want to play while you're calling Untamed. You wouldn't want to phase shift. So I'm curious to see where... like when I play, what actually I'm leading to wanting to do. It could be just getting some Sanctum cards out of hand and setting up Sanctum plays, like playing out a Remiel, maybe a Maxina, a Protectrix. I feel like those, or Gatekeeper potentially to capture. I feel like those are the areas you're looking to utilize that, because the Untamed, I don't think I really want to house cheat Untamed. I think I want to be playing my Untamed cards, or if I do have Hunting Witches and missing some stuff and have things like Vigor in hand, or even a Fertility Chant, I think I may want to just get some of those out of my hand to cycle into more Untamed, potentially for those big Hunting Witch key charge plays, or looking for the key charge. I suppose if you had double Phase Shift, you could do some cool things where you get the key charge off in that regard, like off of Untamed. So yeah, that's the Mummius Broad Gardens Soldier. Definitely an interesting deck for sure. I found that really cool to see some of the stuff there. Now let's see what the Dark Tidings has. I like that Coda as a matchup against a Dark Tiding. I do not feel that it would blow out a Dark Tidings deck necessarily, other than the Ember control. So next up we have, this is called Silent Yeshua, and it's also Untamed, but with shadows and Unfathomable. Oh, you love to see that. You love to see that. Let's see if I can open this more smoothly. Oh yes. The struggle was not as real in this one. I love it. I feel like my time opening decks is literally struggling to get the tab, so you gotta work around it in different ways. Okay, so let's get out the first two things, the Tide and the Archon card, and then let's get into the deck here. So we got Silent Yeshua, Ring of Invisibility, Borrow, Cement Shoes, which states deal 2 damage to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, raise the tide. 2 Cement Shoes, 3 Cement Shoes, Gas Pipes Malone, the Post Malone of Keyforge. Before fight, the creature Gas Pipes Malone fights captures one from its own side. Hard Simpson, really cool. After Hard Simpson is dealt damage, steal 1 Ember. If the tide is low, your opponent steals 1 instead. Hornswoggle, use an enemy artifact as if it were yours. So a lot of artifact stuff between the two decks. Jackie Tar, reap deal 1 to a creature. If the tide is high, deal 6. One-Eyed Willa, while the tide is high, One-Eyed Willa gains Elusive and Skirmish, fight, steal 1. Sea Urchin, play capture 1. If the tide is high, steal 1 instead. It's a poison. And we got Shoulder Id for a little protection in this deck. And it's got Taunt, cannot fight, if it would be dealt damage, it would deal damage, steal 1 instead. And then we move on to Infallible with a General Sherman. General Sherman deals no damage when fighting, but purge each other creature. If General Sherman leaves play, return to play each creature purged this way, exhausted and under its owner's control. Lack Gaboon says, Lack Gaboon gets +1 power for each other exhausted creature. If there are 3 or more other exhausted creatures, Lack Gaboon gains Skirmish and Hazardous 5. Then we got Abandoned Ship. Play, return a creature to its owner's hand. If the tide is high, return 4 creatures to their owner's hand instead. Abysmal Zealot. Ooh, this is my first time getting this. It says, after you raise the tide, capture 2. After your opponent raises the tide, move 2 from Abysmal Zealot to the common supply. Sick card. I like that. Siphos, hazardous for destroyed if the tide is high. Archive Siphos. Spark Fist. I don't think I've seen this one before. Skirmish. 2 power. Fight. Stun and exhaust the creature Spark Fist fights. Tidal Wave. If the tide is high, destroy a creature and each of its neighbors. Your opponent raises the tide. Then we have Tomwa of the Glow. Exhaust a creature. If the tide is high, draw a card for each exhausted enemy creature. Bubbles. Put an enemy creature on top of its owner's deck. Flamegale Enforcer. Action capture 3. After your opponent raises the tide, enrage Flamegale Enforcer. Horrid Cyanid. 4 power poison creature. And then we got Photic Raider. Play capture 2. While the tide is high, Photic Raider gets +4 power. Then moving on to Untamed, we got Eldest Bear. Fertility Chant here too. Wow. I legit have like no Fertility Chant decks. And here I go getting 2 back-to-back. From 2 different sets at that. That's wild. Then we got Gross Surge. Instrument of Silence. The creature gains skirmish and fight, gain 1. Mushroom Man. Assert dominance from the end of the turn. A friendly creature gains skirmish, ready and fight with that creature. Floop. In fighting, each creature deals damage equal to its power to its right neighbor. Mollyhawk, destroy an artifact. Very nice. Reap or Sow. Choose one, ready and reap with a friendly creature, or give 3 power counters to a creature distributed as you choose. Another Reap or Sow. And lastly, the Fittest. Each friendly creature gets +1 power counters. Stats for this deck. We got, for pips, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pips. So that's pretty much on par between the 2 deck and creature count. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Wow, that's a really nice ratio for Dark Tidings. You rarely see it that high Ember to creature ratio, so that's pretty cool. What do I like about this deck? Well, the Reap or Sow, I'm definitely probably using Reaps with these rather than the power counters. Mollyhawk, destroying artifacts, great. Again, loving that with Instrument of Silence being a potential candidate. Gross Surge, I mean, you're just making things big here. I think that more likely than not, I'm going to be wanting to put it on my Aqueon creatures. Eldest Bear, maybe. But, like, Horrid Cyanid being bigger to just deal with anything as a possibility. Tomwa the Glow, making that bigger is actually something I would like. I also like the idea of Reaper Soul with Tomwa, because Tomwa is sick. Spark Fist is a really nice synergy with Tomwa, because you stun and exhaust the creature Spark Fist fights. This is just cool, I guess. Recursion. Yeah, I guess this just is Recursion. Hazardous 4. Yeah, I'm not sure why. This is a weird card to me. I mean, I don't think it's anything special. You just have the chance of putting it in your archives. Like, it doesn't do anything that wild to me. Hazardous 4, I don't see. Maybe if you gave it Taunt, it would be more powerful. Abysmal Zealot. So sick. This is something I'd want to make bigger, too. Abandoned Ship is just really nice. You know what? This is really nice because you have Bubbles as has a playability. Aquan Rider does not count as a good playability. Mollyhawk is a good one. What else do we have? General Sherman, potentially. You could do some shenanigans with General Sherman that way. Sea Urchin is another target you would want. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I like that. You definitely have some cool targets for the Abandoned Ship. Lakaboon is an interesting card. You can definitely use it to your advantage, and your opponent has to be careful if they're planning on killing it and playing stuff. General Sherman is just a nice... It's a weird card. It's like a delay tactic, and obviously there's stuff in the other deck that could counter this, but I do want to play these decks against one another. Maybe I'll do some gold fishing and film some stuff or even stream doing it that way, which would be a change. We got Shoulder Id, which provides some nice taunt. Sea Urchin obviously is great. Fight and Steel is nice. Some removals, great here. Use enemy artifacts, always a great thing. Hard Simpson is such a cool card. I like it. But this deck is not really suited for it. Gas Pipes Malone. Yeah, very nice. So, Cement Shoes, ways of getting the Tide, doing some damage, Borrow getting an artifact, and of course making something elusive and have Skirmish. My main targets here I think are going to be Tomwa. I would like that. Even maybe Eldest Bear. But I'd like Tomwa and Abysmal Zealot to be my targets for that, just to make them just a little bit trickier to deal with. This is a cool deck. I'd have to say between deck A and B, I think I would want to take the Dark Tidings deck in this matchup. I like the interactions of the cards within this one more. I think this one is probably going to be able to do stuff that actually really deals with, like it can counter in terms of bursting. It just has a lot of tricks, but I think the Ember to creature ratio is so nice in this, it's going to have an advantage, but I by no means think this is maybe a terrible deck. I think it's a really good matchup against a Dark Tidings deck. But tell me which one you would rather have. I just like the combos in this more, although I do think there is some interesting potential within this one. Double Hunting Witch, Key Charge. If there's only a way to recur, Key Charge would be really tight. Alright. That does it for this one. How'd you like this set v set Would You Rather? It's definitely different. It makes it a lot harder to make decisions because you got to think of the matchup. I also want to, like normally I'm not playing them against each other. I definitely want to play them against each other. So maybe on stream I'll have to have someone volunteer to play one of these decks, or we'll do it so we each play and swap decks as a new thing on streams. What do you guys think of that? Please let me know. This is the start of the new Would You Rather set v set series. I'm super excited about it. Maybe even sometimes this will be a deck giveaway option and you get to choose which of the two decks you want. Up next we're going to have the bag of decks, which will be revealing this week's giveaway. So if you are one of my Patreon supporters that donated in April, you're going to be up for this month's giveaway. So I'm really excited to be doing it. So you never know which set you're going to be getting as a deck giveaway. It's going to be from all 5. Bag of decks is coming. It's going to be the way we give away decks here moving forward right now most of the time. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, folks, may your Ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.